What's up, guys? So I see what you said, Joey. You said doesn't this doesn't this channel have probation right now? Yes, this channel is on probation. Let me explain to you what happened here. Okay, I was actually doing research and pulling things up for my second channel for the stream that's coming up in 30 minutes, and I came across this story from MSNBC, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna do at least one live stream, if not more, each week on this main channel while it is in its probationary period, because I have until October 10th until the first strike falls off, and then I'm somewhat in the safe zone. But I got to do something in the meantime. So I figure I'm going to experiment a little bit and maybe do like a pre-show, or like, yeah, while I'm doing research and pulling things up, sometimes stories come to me that are like last second. And if they're safe, I can do it on here while still maintaining a presence on this channel. So that's what I'm going to experiment with, is maybe doing like a little 30-minute pre-show before I start on the second channel. And that way it encourages people to go watch the second channel for that longer live stream. And also, I am still waiting to hear back from what's that, Rumble, about how I can live stream on their platform. It's a big mystery. I mean, it's not as user friendly as YouTube. When I can't even go in there and click live stream, it doesn't work. So waiting to do that, because once I can live stream on Rumble, then everything's on the table. All right. So this is a pre-show. This is going to be very short because I'm starting the main live stream on the second channel promptly after this one. So you might as well, once you're done watching this one, just click on the second channel, and within a minute or two, that one will be going live. Okay. So appreciate everybody for being here. LL Lewis. Make sure you guys are all subscribed to that second channel. Make sure you're subbed to Mike Nificent 813. That's where I'll be doing the majority of my live streams from here through probably the end of 2021, just to be on the safe side. Make sure all my channel strikes have fallen off 90 days. If I get a third strike within a 90-day window, that's it. It's all done. So appreciate everybody for being here. All right, let's jump right into it. So while I was doing research, I just got back from a bike ride, and I was getting ready to load up Twitter and everything, get ready for that second stream, for that main stream. And I had this come across my timeline. So let me just share my screen here. All right. You ain't gonna believe this. So you guys know about the missing girl, Gabrielle Petito's kind of swept the nation. Everybody's talking about it. Here's what race baiter Joy Reid, the bitter black woman on MSNBC, had to say about it.
But the way this story has captivated the nation has many wondering, why not the same media attention when people of color go missing? Well, the answer actually has a name: missing white woman syndrome, the term coined by the late and great Gwen Ifill to describe the media and public fascination with missing white women like Lacey Peterson or Natalie Holloway, while ignoring cases involving missing people of color. Joining me now.
Pause right there. Pause right there. So she's talking about how the media ignores missing people of color. Joy, you work in media, and all you've done is ignore people of color when they go missing. So right off top, you're showing your hypocrisy. This is how you know she's controlled by handlers, because they're like, hey, let's shift the narrative this direction. We're going to go in this direction now. Now we need you to divide America this way, drive a wedge this way. Let's talk about a girl who has been missing and ignore the fact that she has probably died, and they are still determining if it was her. I don't even know. I haven't been following the story myself, but I do know they located a body. They think it's her. Anyway, let's not talk about that, the fact that a family is grieving. Let's focus on the skin color of a woman who's not here to defend herself, while also proving what a liar and hypocrite she is by not following stories of missing people of color. Because every person that gets shot in Chicago, St. Louis, Baltimore, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Philadelphia, Memphis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, East Oakland, North Las Vegas, South Central LA, could I just keep going? Every black person that gets murdered by another black person goes missing from family dinners, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. No mention of that on her network. So that's funny. She works in media, has the ability to change that, because, she could do a little bit of journalism. Hey, which black people are missing? Or there's this story. Let me promote that, since all they talk about are the missing white women. Let me use my voice as a black woman on this giant network to promote those stories and share that so that maybe we can bring their killers to justice or find them. So I find that kind of funny that Joy Reid decided to go that route. But let's continue.
Is Derica Wilson, co-founder and CEO of the Black and Missing Foundation, and Lynette Gray Bull, founder of Not Our Native Daughters, an organization created for the awareness of the missing, exploited, and murdered Indigenous women and children. Thank you both for being here. You know, I bring up this point because there's a case that's so similar. A journalist.
Pause real quick before we get into this. You notice how she's able to, when it's time, find two women of color to promote the narrative that she's trying to sell. You notice that after all these years of her being on TV, she could have had these women on to talk about missing people of color cases, right? But she didn't do that. She waited until it was convenient for her to bring them on. So they scrambled and found somebody to come on and be used as a pawn. I don't understand if these women are in on it or if they just don't know that they're being used to promote a narrative. You'll never see these women on MSNBC again after today, guaranteed, or yesterday is when this segment aired. But let's hear what they have to say.
A journalist friend of mine, Derica, sent me this story about a young, about some other people that are missing. There's one guy whose name is Daniel Robinson. Daniel Robinson is a young black man. He's only 24 years old, 5'8", 165, black hair, brown eyes. That's his description. His dad has hired a private investigator to find him. He's missing part of an arm. He was last seen driving away from his job site in the Buckeye, Arizona desert on June 23rd. And his case struck me because it's very similar. He's missing in this, the same part of the world. It's a case that it has all of that same kind of sizzle, the sort of mystery of it. This young man who just goes missing. I never heard of it until this friend of mine sent it to me. And I guess
you're a journalist, Joy. You're a journalist, supposedly.
That's the issue, isn't it?
It is definitely the issue. And we have been sounding the alarm for nearly 14 years because of this. When it comes to missing persons of color, men, women, and children, our cases are not taken seriously. And no one is looking for us if we were to go missing.
So just going to conclude on this, because like I said, this is a little short pre-show. Why does it matter what color the person is that went missing? Let's find them. Why does it have to be, well, this many white people went missing and we covered that. This many black people went missing and we covered that. You know, when they push these false narratives, they conveniently leave out that this is a majority white country. So you're going to have a majority white in whatever situation it is, whether it be missing person cases or hospitalizations. Just there's a bunch of different things where you're going to have white people be the major representation. But it's not like people are ignoring missing cases of black children or black people. It's people like Joy Reid, in fact, who have the opportunity to promote that, and she chooses not to. She chooses instead to focus. The whole focus of this entire segment was the fact that a white girl went missing, and now, sadly, it looks like they recovered her remains. So rest in peace to her. But Joy Reid, rather than acknowledging this sad, tragic story, is using it and using these black women on her platform to promote hatred and division. Go figure. But she thinks she's a good person. She's on that moral high ground. You know, this is Joy Reid. Just nothing is impossible in clown world, you guys. These women were completely used and abused by a woman on a network who has handlers. Last week, it was attacking Nicki Minaj instead of, something way more important, like maybe the missing children that go missing of all colors. By the way, you want to talk about human trafficking and all that. She doesn't want to do that because her handlers who control her on her network won't let her do that. But hey, let's go ahead and divide the country and talk about missing white woman syndrome and use black women. Like I said, you will never see these two women that you just saw. You won't see their story again. You won't hear anything about them again because their job is done. They came on Joy Reid to say, hey, look, here is an instance of a black person that went missing. I hope they find him. Hopefully he's found alive. Yes, great. But hey, here's a story of a black person that went missing. Why don't we talk about that? Joy Reid, why don't you lead by example? Okay, that's it. That's all I got to say about her. She is insufferable. That's to put it mildly. All right, moving on to the next This one is a beaut right here. This one is a beaut. Did y'all see this one yet? Oh boy, the mayor of San Francisco who got caught without her mask on, caught not following her own decrees that she put in place in her city, San Francisco. Because she was being criticized, she tried to deflect and push the blame and say, you know what, this shouldn't even be about me. This should be about the musicians. But I'll just let her explain it. She does it so much better than I could.
Time at the Black Cat, and I think it's sad that this is even a story. The fact is, there was something that was really monumental that occurred, and that is Tony, the original members, the brothers, Raphael Sadiq and Dwayne Wiggins, who have not performed in public for, I believe, at least over 20 years. They are just really some of the most incredible artists in the history of this country and the Bay Area.
That is more interesting than important. There are a lot of great musicians out there. I love how she's just going on this quick little tangent. Like, actually, these are great musicians who haven't performed live in a long time. And that's the real story, not me, a leader and someone who's pushing these public health measures, violating these same public health measures. That's not the story. The story is we had these artists that are great that were performing. Can you believe this? I don't know if I can believe it or can't believe it. It's just nothing's impossible in clown world.
In particular, and the fact that that is getting lost here is very unfortunate, not to mention the incredible trumpeter, Maurice Mobetta Brown, who is just phenomenal. These incredible musicians who performed and who really uplifted the spirits of not just myself, but all of the people who were there. And from my perspective, you know, I was there, I was eating and I was drinking and I was sitting with my friends, and everyone who came in there was vaccinated. So the fact that we have turned this into a story about being maskless, no, I'm not going to sip and put my mask on, sip and put my mask on, sip and put my mask on, eat and put my mask on. While I'm eating and I'm drinking, I'm going to keep my mask off. And yes, in the end time, while we're drinking, like everyone else there, we were all having a good time. And again, all vaccinated. So the fact that this is even a story is sad.
I'm not going to go too far into the commentary, what I have to say about everything she just said for obvious reasons. But let's focus on what she said as far as her hypocrisy. All right. First of all, she sounds just like any of us would sound. That would be my explanation if the fun Nazis came in and decided, hey, you need to do this. You need to follow these health measures. I would be like, but I'm just trying to consume food and drink, and it's hard to do that when my face is covered. And, you know, it's hard to remember, you know, but she goes off of like, well, you guys shouldn't even be looking at me. That's very convenient. When the spotlight is on you, rightfully, now you're like, well, it shouldn't even be about me. It's about the music. It's about these artists and how wonderful they are. So that means she sounds like most people would, but then she turns around and she's a fraud and she's a hypocrite and she's a liar.
And it's sad because we're missing out on the fact that we have live performances. We in San Francisco have done an incredible job around COVID. Yes, we have challenges, but this is now a distraction. And I would hope that people would spend more time on enjoying San Francisco
than holding you accountable. We got it.
Of going to go see Maurice Mobetta Brown, who's only going to be here for another week at the Black.
You guys, you need to focus on Maurice Mobetta Brown. That's the big scoop here is Maurice Mobetta Brown.
Cat.
Clown world.
The stories about how incredible and talented these artists are, and less about something that shouldn't even be a story in the first place.
So speaking of like live music returning, I guess there was also Metallica returning for a show at the Independent last night. Did you hear about that?
Yes, and I saw the lines, and the Independent is
I don't know if I missed the part already. Maybe I talked over it. This is a 6-minute, 21-second video. I really don't want to play the whole thing to find it. But in this clip, she says that the reason why she didn't have her covering on is because She was feeling the spirit. That's what she said. Those were her words. The reason why I got caught up in my own hypocrisy is I was lost. I was feeling the spirit and dancing. And that's what's really important, is I was just channeling my inner feeling and inner being and knowing. And that's why I didn't have the covering on, because I was feeling the spirit. Maybe the spirit of Lucifer or something. I don't know. But she was feeling some kind of spirit. And that's reason enough why she doesn't have to follow her own guidelines, but you do if you live in San Francisco. And that's the mayor, London Breed, mayor of San Francisco, who ignores the fecal matter on the street and the busted out windows. People actually have to put signs in their windows saying, "Don't break my car window. There's nothing in there, not even cigarettes. Please don't break my car window." They've decriminalized crime. So now you can just walk into CVS and Walgreens, grab whatever merch you want, walk out. It's all good. People get randomly assaulted. San Francisco is an interesting city, and she's at the helm of it. But she wants you to praise her for the job that she's done with the 2020 sickness. That's her whole spiel here. Focus on what I've done great. Focus on how amazing I am. And then Maurice Mobetta, or whatever his name is, focus on his music. And Tony, that is the big scoop. That's the big takeaway here. Don't you focus. I'm surprised she didn't say, you guys are just criticizing me because I am a woman of color. I mean, there's no other reason why you would call me out for not following my own measures that I put in place. You're doing this to me because of my skin color. I'm surprised she didn't take that angle. Maybe she will if the criticism continues. She probably thought she could just get away with it if she just deflected, said she was channeling the spirit, feeling the spirit, maybe the spirits that were poured in her glass. Maybe that's what she was feeling, those spirits, or the music that she said you should be focused on. Tony. He's only in town for one night. You need to just focus on that. But yeah, that's Clown World for you guys. And I did have another clip that I was trying to find. I searched desperately. I could not find it. It's just a clip of Jen Psaki. I think it was maybe yesterday or over the weekend. She had a press conference, and the only journalist in the room who really asked her really hard-hitting questions, I'm surprised they haven't kicked him out yet, is Peter Doocy from Fox News. I don't know why they haven't kicked him out yet or tried to muzzle him, but he's able to ask her some tough questions. He asked a question about people who are traveling here as tourists have to show their medical papers. They have to comply. If you fly to the United States, if you enter this country on an aircraft, unless you're coming from Afghanistan, you have to show your health papers. But if you illegally cross the southern border, you do not. None of those restrictions apply. They only apply to the law-abiding citizens. Why is that the case? Because nothing is impossible in Clown World. I thought I was going to be able to go until noon exactly, but those are the two stories that I wanted to cover. If I had that third clip, I searched for it. I could only find other clips of ridiculous things she said over the past several months. So that's unfortunate, but that's what she said in that clip, that, people who are coming here from other countries on an aircraft, probably from other Western countries, they are subject to all of the strict guidelines, mandates, showing their health papers, probably having to quarantine and all of that good stuff. But if they just decided to come over, illegally, they would be fine. Just come on. We trust your word that you are safe and healthy and clean. You're good to go. That's what she said. And she also said that the people who are crossing the southern border are not planning to be here permanently. It's temporary. No, Jen Psaki, that would be the people who are flying over to take vacations that you're making go through all the mandates. They're here temporarily. They're here with a passport. They're here for a short period of time before they leave. People crossing the border illegally are looking for permanent residence. That's the way that works. But I'm sure the SEALs will just clap and just applaud. And, she's doing a great job as press secretary. Clown World, you guys, Clown World. Anyways, this is going to be it. I'm shutting it down. I'm going to the next channel. So make sure that you're subbed to the backup channel, Mike Nificent 813. Maybe one of the mods can put it in the chat. I forgot to pin it to the chat, to the top of the chat. But if you just search Mike Nificent 813, it should pop right up. We're going live over there at noon Eastern. That's 10 minutes from now. So make sure you tune in over there. God bless my man Joey for the super chat. Let me see if I can go back and find it. I saw it come in. Thank you so much, my man. Appreciate you. Everyone else, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subbed to that channel. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. I'll see you guys over there.